What's up, everyone? So if you are here, you have most likely heard of Nmap. And if you haven't, well, today is your lucky day. You get to learn something new. Nmap is an amazing network scanner. It's open source. You can do vulnerability scans on it. It has all sorts of scripting abilities too. And it can basically tell you everything that's on your network. And, usually if it's vulnerable to certain attacks, or at least, what ports are open on your network. And it can be a little intimidating at first, and so I want to introduce you to something really cool. It is called Nmap Unleashed. What Nmap Unleashed is kind of a wrapper for Nmap, but its whole goal is to really make your scans a lot more efficient, give you the ability to combine reports so that you're not doing a lot of copying and pasting and HTML editing. It also helps you with the usage and the parameters to use when you are using Nmap. It can be a little overwhelming at first, and so they do have a couple of things, some quick usage, some getting started. Because a lot of it is command line driven, it's still going to generate you some amazing reports, but it's a little bit of a learning curve. But honestly, between the wrapper here and resources that are out there, like I want to throw in a couple of cheat sheets that you can use. I'll put that down in the description. But also ChatGPT is a thing, so don't feel like you are on your own. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of the things that I've done with this wrapper and show you some of the reports that it generated. Then I'm going to show you how to get it set up on pretty much any Linux machine. We're going to be using Debian for our example. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this is the GitHub page. Obviously, a big thank you to Sharkyonics for putting this together. It is under active development. You can see the last time it was updated was 5 days ago. And this just started. I think their first release was popped out, I believe, earlier this year. I think at the end of January. So again, very new, but also very helpful, and I've used it a bunch and really am impressed with all the things that it can do. Let me show you some examples. So I'm going to whip up my terminal here, and let's do this. Here is my terminal. Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to make the text just a little bit bigger. And we're on a virtual machine just called Debi. So Debi is running Debian, and what it's going to help us do is just to do some of these scans. I've already loaded Nmap and Nmap Unleashed. I'll show you how to do that later on. But let's go ahead and let's take a look at it. So the very first thing that we're going to type in is NU, and that is going to show us all of the different commands that we can run and the different types of scans, the different parameters, what they mean, because that's not always really straightforward. So this kind of gives you the command, how to put it in your command line, what it means. And you can kind of, you can really like team these up and combine them so that it's doing all sorts of really cool scans for you. And you can do quiet scans, you can do really loud scans, just depends on kind of your goal. Are you trying to do a network scan that's very quiet, it's not going to set off a lot of alarm bells? Or are you just going crazy and seeing what catches you? Again, here's our scripts. I'm not going to go into that too much, but they do use Lua scripts. I would definitely take a look at that because there's a lot of vulnerability scanning that can be done through those scripts. But it's a pretty big library, and it's all built into Nmap. So you don't have to worry about installing anything, setting anything up. It's all built into there. So this is a good one. This is a classic one of we're just going to do an Nmap scan, and it's going to be all ports, and it's going to be scanning scanme.nmap.org. Now, instead of us doing that, let's instead scan our network, our local network. There's a couple of hosts that we have going on there, and I think we can find some interesting things. So we're going to do an nmap-dp, and we're going to do all the ports, and we're going to do our entire subnet. We're going to do 192.168.56.0/24. And the good thing about this wrapper is we can specify multiple subnets in here, multiple targets, and it will all put it into the same report for us. So very convenient. So maybe we also wanted to scan my domain name. So maybe you want to scan snacktime.com or whatever you want to put in here. I'm going to do I'm going to do synhow.com. I don't think that there's anything going to be exposed there, but worth a shot. We're going to go ahead and hit enter on that. And unlike Nmap, it's going to give you this cute little interface here that you'll be able to see some metrics. If you are running Nmap regularly, it would pretty much just be a command line that would just go down the screen. It's not going to give you this pretty little, this little kind of menu that lets us do a little bit of interfacing with it. We can cancel it, we can kill it, whatever. It is a little flickery, but it's just the kind of the way that it is, just because of the way that it's running on the just the terminal window. So let's let this run, and then I'm going to show you some of the reports that it generated from this scan. It can be really cool. I'll see you back here in just a second. So it's still running, but check this out. I want you to pay attention. If I kind of zoomed it a little bit so you can see it a little better on your screen, but if you are running at regular size and you are able to see the entire screen, you'll also see a progress bar at the bottom. So we're sitting at about 12%. We'll check back here when it's about 100. All right. Oh, also not done yet, but still, did you see down at the bottom of the screen, we're also looking at throughput. So we're seeing how much our network is talking. So we'll see exactly the interface that's being used, as well as the throughput transmit receive and everything that's going on. We can see that there's a lot of talking going on in this network, a lot of communication. And so that's something that I believe we can also control with this, but at least it gives us an idea as far as, you know, which interface is doing the talking and how much talking they really are doing. All right. I'll be back, promise. I will be back here in just a few minutes. Okay, we are all done and we have hit 100%. Let's check our directory out a little bit. So if we do an ls, it's going to show us a couple of files. We'll have an HTML file, we have a text file. HTML file, the scans one is our report. And also for the individual hosts that it did detect, it's also going to create a subfolder for those. So we have a couple of them in here. We have 192.168.56.102. We also have synhow, and those are for the more detailed reports. So as we jump into those and we maybe do specific scans on these IP addresses, they'll dump into there and give us a little bit more of an in-depth story. I believe you can also download this entire folder structure and kind of navigate through that. Let's do that. Okay, so I had to install zip, but that didn't take very long. Let's go ahead and zip up this folder. So I'm going to do a zip and I'm going to make it recursive. And I'm just going to call this nmap.zip. And we're just going to do the nmap folder. All right, so now we have all of those zipped up into a nice little zip file. I'm going to download this now using the SFTP that's built into Tabby, which is what I'm using here. And so let's go ahead and download that guy. And that, make sure I overwrite the old one. That one didn't extract quite right. All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and I'm going to extract over there. And now I'm going to minimize some of these files or these programs so you can see. So I have my nmap folder that I just extracted. And here we go. We have all of our hosts and our main report. So let's go ahead and let's open this up. I'm going to open it with Brave so you can see it. And let's go under nmap and scans. All right. I know this is a little small. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you. But these are all the different scans that we did, all the different IP addresses that we scanned. And not all of them bore fruit, but some of them did. I believe those are the ones that are highlighted in blue. So if we click on this guy, it'll take us down the report a little bit to the information that it found out when it scanned synhow.com. So here's all the ports that it was able to find and the traffic that responded to it, the headers. So we have a little bit, we can see our portainer responded, the 9443. We got a little bit of information about that. So that's good information to know. All kind of really basic stuff that you guys probably should already be aware of. You probably already scanned my domain. It's okay. Let's see, let's go ahead and let's hit up one of our IP addresses that's a little bit more exciting. Let's go to 102. I happen to know that this is a freshly set up Windows server that is living on my network temporarily. And so here is some of the information we were able to glean from it. we were able to find out that this thing had port 25 open. We got a host name. That's awesome. We're also able to see that port 80 is open, and the web server that is running, which is web IIS version 8. So whenever you're like looking at this information, you should be thinking in the back of your head, you know, what are these things vulnerable to? You know, like what kind of patching are they looking at? Are they up to date or maybe not? So as a pen tester, a bug bounty, any of that sort of thing that you're doing totally legitimately, that is kind of where your mindset should be. As we scroll down, we see a whole bunch of other really cool stuff. We see port 3389 open. All really good information. It's helped us learn a whole bunch about this computer. Let's see if we've learned anything else. Nothing too much. We really didn't try to enumerate the machine's Active Directory or anything, but that's kind of the first thing that I would go to, especially after seeing 3389 open and IIS. You're typically not going to be running on some sort of workstation. So that's where my head would be. But you see that this is the wrapper has put all of this information into one report, which is really amazing. And you could, there's really no limit to the amount of hosts that you can throw in here. One example that I saw was that you could also have everything in like a targets text file. So you put all your hosts that you're interested in. You don't have to do a wide network scan if you don't want to. Put it in there and specify that. That's just a feature of Nmap. But the wrapper just kind of makes it easier, puts it all in one nice little report for you. And you know, just like I said, just makes your life a little easier. All right, so since we did find a Windows server on our network, what do you say we kind of enumerate it, kind of gather some intel about it that could possibly be used in the future for some, you know, hackery type stuff. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to see how much information I can gather about it, or how much it will really tell me. And I'm going to do that by running some of the scripts that are built into Nmap. So we're going to do NU, and I have a cheat sheet going on over here that I will definitely give you access to. But we're going to do a script. We're going to do an SMB-OS discovery. Try to figure out, you know, what operating system version it's running. It can be very helpful when you're determining what it's vulnerable to and what kind of attacks to perform. All right, and so let's do another thing too. Let's do a enum and do shares. I'm also going to do an SMB enum users. I want to also run a vuln scan on this, kind of look out for any sort of vulnerabilities. And now I'm going to specify my IP address that I'm going to be targeting. I think we are at 102. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and pop that in there. And what it's going to do is it's going to run all 4 of those scripts on this IP address. And it's going to put all the results in that folder underneath the subfolder of the IP address. So we'll be able to find that here, apparently very quickly. All right, so instead of me zipping up the entire folder again, let's take a look. And it did jump it into this folder, and that's fine. It's outside of our Nmap one, but I don't really care. The only file I really give a crap about right now is this HTML file. But if you are doing a more proper scan, obviously you may want to keep everything under the same subfolder just for ease of use. So let's go under this one, and I'm just going to grab this HTML file. I'm going to overwrite the one I have here. And let's do this. Let's go and do an open. And I'm going to look for my, there we go, cool. All right, so what did we find? We had a script execution fail. Oh, that's fine, whatever. But we did have a couple of them that were successful, so that's a plus. Let's take a look. We were able to enumerate the operating system version. We were able to determine that it is a Windows Server 2012 standard. That is accurate. It's exactly what it is. Our enum shares failed, guessing at common ones, all access denied. It's bound to happen eventually. As we go down our list, No vulnerabilities found there. A little bit of operating system discovery. We were able to, again, find out the operating system. We were able to find out the computer name and also the domain name. Domain name is very helpful. Good stuff to know. Next up, we have a little bit of SMB vulnerability here. So this is our script name, and it says that it is vulnerable to remote code execution for SMB version 1. So this is the kind of information that we would definitely be interested in as a threat actor slash ethical hacker, because we will be able to use this to hopefully gain access to a server. And once you do that, it's kind of game over. So as you can see, very good information to have. And if you are building a report for a client or doing a bug bounty, this is the information that you would want to have to be able to present to your client. So now, without getting too much into the weeds of all the different stuff that Nmap can do, which is vast, especially when you consider the scripts, I'm going to show you how to set this up. I'm going to send you on your way and get you scanning and get you experimenting, and hopefully with this, as well as a plethora of other resources I'm going to give you, hopefully you'll be able to find some really cool stuff and some really cool uses for this software. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to wipe my Debian machine, and I'm going to start the install from scratch so that you see everything I do and you can hopefully follow along. And when it's all said and done, you will be good to go. All right, I will see you back here in just a second. Okay, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get started on our install. So this is just a regular old Debian machine, nothing special. But if you're running something like Kali Linux, you may have some of this already installed, especially Nmap. But for the rest of us that maybe are just starting out with this, we don't want to run a fully loaded Kali machine. Maybe we just want to start something simple with just with Debian or maybe Ubuntu and loaded inside of Windows. That's also a possibility. Totally up to you. All right, so let's do this. We need to install Nmap, and that can be easily done through just doing a sudo apt install, just like -y nmap, and we'll do xllt-proc and grep. All right, so it's installing now. Oops, there you go. All right, so everything installed, no errors, which is good. All right, next up, I believe we are also going to need git, because it is going to be using the git command. So if you don't already have that loaded, let's do the same thing, apt install git. I'm gonna do yep. And here we go, git is installed. Git's always a good thing to have. Next thing we're going to be needing is it wants us to run pipx, and if we try that here, it's going to say command not found. But luckily, we have a fix for it. Very easy. Sudo apt install, and you guessed it, pipx. And it's going to install Python if it's not already there, and it's also going to install pipx. So that hopefully when we run pipx, here we go, much better results. All right, so let's go ahead and just copy this, and we're just going to paste it here. And that's just going to run the installation from our GitHub here. All right, so as this is installing, easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, so we are good to go. However, if you do run NU, you're most likely going to get, oh, command not found. Well, what the crap is up with that? That is okay. It's most likely just because you need to sign out and sign back in. So we're going to open up a new one. I'm just going to select that out of my profile list, Debbie. And when I hit NU, there we go. There is our pretty little interface. And again, take a look through all of this. I'm going to post some links down in the description below for some cheat sheets that will also help for you. You can print those out. You can pin them to your wall, whatever you want to do. And that way, whenever you need to know how to do send scans or something like that, you will have that at your fingertips. I also want to give you a little bit of help here too. And I want to give you the resource of one of the guys that I firmly believe is one of the amazing educator out there, and he does a lot of Wireshark videos. And I'm just going to do a search for Nmap and Chris, and I'll show you. Here we go. Chris Greer, amazing educator, and he has a course here that looks like getting started with Nmap, full course with David. David's also another super smart guy and can kind of help you get started. You can kind of take a look at this. We have a 44-minute video here that is done with David, and he'll walk you through all the different types of scans that you can do with Nmap. That's kind of why I didn't want to compete with the mountain of other videos that are out there that will show you how to use Nmap. Just wanted to show you this really cool wrapper that might make it a little easier for you to visualize and see what's going on. Maybe give you some cool reports. All right, guys, we'll really appreciate you guys watching. If you do have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. You guys take care. Bye.